Hi, I'm Connor. I'm here at my place of work, Crazy Charlie's, a local hot dog shop. I'm here to talk to you today about Boards of Canada, because I'm an avid record collector and music nerd. They're a duo consisting of two brothers, Marcus Eon and Michael Sanderson. They're signed to the legendary Warp record label from the UK.
How long have they been making electronic music?
They broke onto the scene in the mid to late 90s.
Could you do that again, but say the name of the album?
Oh, yes. Okay. I think I'm ready, and then I'm not, and then you hit me with a question. Okay. They broke onto the scene in 1998. They had one EP drop before that, but this was their defining moment with their debut. A Music Has a Right to Children. This album is considered to be a masterpiece in electronic and down tempo with some like ambient, cool psychedelic textures.
So that specific album, how does it make you feel personally?
This was my introduction to the band. It feels like being a kid again, like running through a meadow and just like experiencing nature or just like nature sounds for the first time. It was unlike any electronic record I had ever heard. And as much as I do love that album, there is one, however, that I've gravitated or love even more, and that's the one I'm going to be talking to you about today. This album, Geogaddi, that came out in 2002. This is their follow-up to their debut. A little moodier.
I noticed a little bit of a mood shift around here.
A little darker and more abstract record. Upon each listen, kind of opens up and gives you more to chew on with each go around.
So good and tasty.
What are some of your favorite songs off of Geogaddi?
One of my favorite songs would have to be. Go through that question again. Some of my favorite songs off. What? Feel like I'm talking to Connor, but I keep looking at the trash can instead of the camera. Geogaddi, to me, it starts off with some heaters. The first song is Ready, Let's Go, which is just this minute-long introduction track, but it does like set this tone of something a little more darker, a little bit more ambient. The second track has to be a favorite of mine. That's Music is Math. That one has very punchy beats and these like hazy synths in the background that I could listen to it 100 times and still hear something different.
What do you think of the song Sunshine Recorder?
Sunshine Recorder, that has to be one of the dizzying songs on the album because it just feels like it's a very cerebral experience listening to that one because it feels like the drum melodies and the loops behind them are just like circling around in my head, like a real earworm.
If you had to describe the sound of the album or summarize it in some way or how it progresses, how would you go about doing that?
It progresses in a way that gets continually more abstract and more ambient, but two words I'd use to describe this album would be moody and psychedelic. It's very just psychedelic by nature. The little vocal clips along with these very textured, almost crunchy sounding production just make it a enthralling listen from top to bottom.
And how does that compare to the other album that you have?
Yeah, going from this album to this album, it's almost like the older brother that's like gonna be more like teen angst or moodiness to it, even though they're both like electronic albums with not very many words. It just feels like a little meaner almost in sound and texture.
Can you give us a brief bio of the two brothers?
I know a little bit about. Yeah, I know they were both born in Scotland, and they were both greatly inspired by the National Film Board of Canada and a lot of those like 90s like nature documentaries and stuff like that, and I feel like their sound and the music they record is very reminiscent with that.
What's the association to Salad Fingers?
Oh, okay. Yeah, some early mid-YouTube years, there's a song on here called Beware the Friendly Stranger, and in Salad Fingers, those YouTube videos, you might have not known that you were listening to a Boards of Canada, but that song is playing in the background, and I think it's very fitting for that, as it is a very eerie and darker sounding song, especially for only being 37 seconds in length. Other small songs on the album that add a lot of texture to the album and just like complement the longer songs around them would be like In the Annex and The Smallest Weird Number. Those two also only about a minute and a half in length, but they provoked such emotion and feelings for just being so short. It's kind of hard just myself as the introduction and yeah, about
the hand was crazy.
You raised your hand?
Yeah, I was raising
I forgot where I kind of was.
Can you tell me a little bit about the track You Can Feel the Sky?
Yeah, You Could Feel the Sky. I know that was a satisfying recording for the duo. They wanted something that sounded like rope being stretched over a wooden ship, and I feel like that track perfectly embarks what that would sound like. Another favorite towards the latter half of the album would be Dawn Chorus. To me, that song sounds like seeing a sunset. Say, one thing I love about this album would be the sequencing and just how the track list flows. The first 10 tracks are definitely a little punchier in nature, and then it gets progressively more ambient, more experimental, you could say.
Final thoughts on the album?
Yeah, my final thoughts would be that this is a must listen for fans of electronic music or anyone trying to branch out and try a different band, different artists. I would rate this a classic, or like it's like ketchup on a hot dog. I feel like it's never old. You could put it on anything. I could put this record on any time and know that I'll feel something.
All right, good job.
Okay. Yeah,
We can show like
Yeah.
the bloopers. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So when did they first break onto the scene?
Okay, they totally. Oh, all right. I think I'm ready, and then I'm not, and then you hit me with a question.